Okay, Denise Matteau here. Welcome, whoever, wherever, whenever you are. Um, Glad you decided to look at my video. This is more on hex quilt, hexagon English paper piecing, but this is called Texas felt piecing because in place of the paper, I'm using felt. And I want to show you something. I remembered something from my childhood that all of a sudden, it took all these years for me to realize what was going on. Some people, some of my aunts and neighbors had these they were like dolls, but they weren't toys because we weren't allowed to play with them. But they had arms and legs that looked like this, and maybe a set of larger ones for the body. And they would be sitting on a shelf somewhere. Those were unfinished hex quilts. They were probably not the hexagon shapes, though. They were those button, because that's what they used to make a lot. My neighbors used to make those. You gather the circle of fabric together, and it makes a little poof. And that's what they used to do. When they would just gather them up, and after a while, the legs of the doll and the body would get big enough. They would take it apart and make a blanket out of it. And I thought, well, how clever. Because then you don't have this guilt trip of having a box of unfinished project hanging around. You actually have something that is decorative and looks good, and who cares if it takes 3 years before you decide to pull it apart and turn it into a quilt. Anyway, and so what I did today was this is the ruler I made out of just cardboard. See, and the number 2 is because I have a set of biscuit cutters, and this is the second from the smallest size. So this is the number 2 size, and I have it all marked with all the sizes on it. I use this, I lay this down on the fabric, zigzag cut it. Then this one that's called Master, I put each one under this and trim, and after they're trimmed, I put them in these strings. Now, these will not get confused and mixed up with anything else. They're going to stay in that string. And I'm going to be making one of those little dolls myself. I got an idea about what it's going to look like. But this here is the rest of this quilt, okay, which is a little more than halfway done. I've got to do about 30 more of the diamond shapes. And I've got to make sure I have enough green. I might have to buy some more green, and I hope after all this time I can match it. I probably can, though, because it's a pretty standard color. And so that's going to take me a while, but not that long. I'm surprised at how fast this is going, actually. My next hex quilt is going to go a lot faster because I figured out my system. And there's a little bit of St. Patty's Day in this because I got the things here, the shamrocks. What's that? I wanted to, oh yeah, here, right here. You see this? There's a gap because my measurements were not, I wasn't using a master template to check all my hexes. And so I would get these little gaps. Well, what I do is I just put a little patch in where there's a gap. And then when it's laying on the bed, no one's going to notice that. My next quilt probably won't have any gaps because my hexagons are coming out a lot more even. But anyway, I just want to let you know this is day 1 of the month of March. I'm going to try to post my daily activity video every day. And I've got 3 or 4 different projects that I'm rotating. Let me see, there's this one. I'll do a video on this one separately too. That's an embroidered denim bag. Okay, well, take care, everyone. Stay busy. Hope the weather's improving for everybody out there. It's been a rough year so far, but we'll get through it. Denise Matteau, over and out.